I just clicked it. I just clicked it.
Oh no, countdown. We're live. Okay.
Nope, we're going right into it tonight.
Yeah. No countdown. No,
No
people
countdown.
don't need a
Well, you know what it
countdown.
is?
It's
We've
just
had a
30
week
seconds of
off.
anticipation.
We've had a week off. We don't know what we're doing anymore. You know, we said, it's Halloween. Well,
real professionals here.
Right. And then now it's just like, okay, I think I just shit the bed. So, all right.
Yeah.
So let's go around the room. Jeremy, what you been up to? It's been a couple of weeks.
I've been working on bases for my not so secret Twilightkin army. So I thought I would share some pictures of that, and then I'm curious as kind of what your guys' process is.
Process in terms of
processes.
You mean just like in painting new armies, or in?
No, I'm just gonna take you through the steps that I do on my basing.
Oh,
I have
all right.
I have like just the basing. I have like a step by step.
Hey, Alex.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, Alex. What have you been up to?
Step.
I just finished dinner and I was doing some blue stuff molds today for some saddles and armor bits for my honor guard conversion.
Awesome. And Matt, you've been out probably
too,
gardening, probably.
Oh man, so much gardening. I've like destroyed about 20 meters of concrete, carried it out, then put it in a bin. Dug trenches, and then in between that, painting a regiment of spearmen. That's not too far off finished.
That's the Dragon Empire guys, right?
Yeah. Only about 10,000 points of stuff to go.
You know what? The good news is that you'll never run out.
Yeah, exactly.
They look like they're fun to paint, at least.
They are. Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm not painting to a list. I'm just going where the wind blows. Oh, we've got a hello from Mark. Mark's driving home.
Okay, can you see my screen?
It's early enough. See, like if we were at the normal time, he'd be in bed by then.
Yeah.
So.
All right, Jeremy, I'm going to add it to the stream.
Okay.
All right, Jeremy's going to take us through his basing.
Okay, so I usually start with like a Blake MDF base. Did that bring up the picture of the one base?
Just double click it. Well, this is going smoothly.
Yeah. He may have to actually share the screen.
I'm trying to. It's just showing the like the window.
Yeah, it's showing all the pictures.
It's showing all the pictures.
Are they too small, or can you see them? Okay, let me try to make
roughly
them
see them.
Maybe make them large. If you can make them a little larger, might not.
Yeah, work. View. For some reason, it's not letting me open like a gallery. Only have to open them one at a time. Hold on.
Well, if you open them one at a time, you should be able to click through them in order, right?
Yeah.
There's no like next picture button. Oh, wait a minute. No, I got it. Hold on. Never mind.
We know how to use computers, folks.
Files are in the computer.
Says the guy in Northern California.
This is hilarious. Okay, I'm now going to share the right thing. Okay, so share.
You weren't sharing the right screen, probably. I get you.
I was not sharing the right screen. Share. Okay, now you should see.
Loading.
Loading.
Okay.
We need to like maybe take a GoFundMe for like a better internet for Jeremy. What do you think?
We will try one more time.
He needs a personal assistant that knows how to use a computer.
I can see all that mail in the back, all those bills piled up.
Yeah.
Why is this now? Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. This is not working out very well. Okay. Give me a second.
Bit of
So Matt, I'm gonna send you a couple of pictures of my blue stuff molds. I'll talk you through those. While
we're looking at this, I'll talk about what I've been working on. So because I'm not gonna show pictures, I'll just show the actual unit. So I've got a tournament coming up. About 2 weeks ago, we talked about that I wanted to drop the 2 regiments of chariots and take 1 horde.
Yep.
So and basically drop the 2 boomer sergeants and take 2 warlocks. So that's basically what I've done. I've swapped in a horde of chariots, and I'm using. I had 6 of these guys slaying around. 3 of them were painted and 3 of them were unpainted. I will say this: they're a lot easier to paint when they're not assembled. I will say that. That last guy was like, I was like, all right, trying to get the brush in there under the beard is like, yeah, okay, it's a bit much. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty bulky, man. Look how big.
Yeah.
Look how big
It's funny
That's 100
because
millimeter. That's 100 millimeter deep base. Go ahead.
when you
Sorry.
send the photos of the unit, it's like it looks great, and then but when you're holding it in your hand, you realize like how huge a chariot horde actually is. And those minis, those are giant. Those are huge.
They are very, very big for sure. I've got 2 more. I don't know what I'm gonna do with. So I don't know. I'm kind of done painting these guys now. I don't really want to paint anymore.
You could do like the warlord or sergeant on chariot with them, right? You can make a couple characters.
I could. I already have. See, that's the thing. I already have all my chariot. I already have chariots in regiment and legion and individual characters. I just didn't happen to have a horde, and so I thought, we'll paint. Give me an excuse to paint these guys up. But yeah, you're right. I could paint up a couple characters and just but yeah, they're. I mean, in terms of models, they're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And it's also very good. I will say if you're getting back into painting and you haven't painted for a while, large scale models are ace because you're like you can use the right techniques, but it's a lot easier because you're like, oh, the eyeball, that's super simple, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would normally go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying like they look like big models are sometimes intimidating, but they're actually easier in a lot of ways.
The skin on these guys, I was like, I don't give a shit. Like literally, like just like. All right, what you'd see at the front of the base, I spend a little more time on, but this guy's the skin in the back. You're not looking at their butts.
Yeah. If you are, there's something wrong with you.
That's right. Or you're trying to look, or if you're one of them guys who are trying to see if they got junk, no.
Or it's like if in game you can see the back, you've done something very wrong.
That's true. If they're getting rammed in the rear, there's a problem.
If your opponent's chariot horde is behind you, there's a problem.
Yeah. So
right,
so that's really all the painting. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, okay. No, I was just going to say I think Jeremy's finally figured out his.
Let's try one more time.
Okay, all right, Jeremy.
Okay. Nathan Bean.
Just let me know when it
we can see it. Why don't you zoom in a little bit though?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So you got a piece of MDF there.
A little bit more.
What's with all
those are magnets?
Shitty. What's with all the sporadic holes around? Like somebody just took a drill and was like,
okay. So this is where you start, right? We've talked about like where do you start with your basing? So start with the MDF. I like to use the metal toolbox, our metal way to transfer models. So those are holes are where the magnet's going to go. So you can get any sort of like drill bit, right? To kind of like match your magnets. And then this is step 2, right? You see here I've like cleaned up the base now, so I filed everything down.
But still, you didn't answer my question though. Why are the magnets look like a Unabomber put them in?
Oh, I don't know. They just go where they feel like they're gonna go.
All right,
they're kind of organized, right?
No, they're not. Like for me, like I'm OCD, so like on mine, like it's like I have a little template. Yeah,
perfect grid. Yeah,
yep. It's like boom, and every corner there's a 4 millimeter.
This is
yeah. But anyways.
It's not my most favorite part of the hobby. So this is just like let's get through. The main thing you want to think about when you're doing this step is just make sure the magnets are within the base. Because you don't want to have like wobble base. If one magnet's even a millimeter not flush with the bottom of the base won't sit flat.
Yeah, see, this step doesn't exist for me. So I just buy bases that already have the existing they have like an existing metallic rubber or something underneath them.
Oh, cool. So you
there's
can
a
do
place
that too.
locally. There's a place locally that just you pull it. It's all sliced perfectly. I think laser cut with the MDF.
Mm-hmm. Shogun makes those here in North America.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a way you could go. You don't have to do this way but it's basically what is my magnetization step. So then this is now I'm starting to build my hills. So this is just there's a couple different ways you can do this. A lot of people like blue foam or pink foam. I just have sheets of cork that I use an X-Acto knife to shave down to create like sloping. So this is because ground is not level, right? Ground has hills and even like a level ground dips or moves or whatever. So you're trying to create like verticality and structure on your base and not just have it be flat. What do you guys like to use for your hills? Or I know, Robert, you're a foam guy.
So yeah, I was just gonna say if you use foam, I'll typically cover it with epoxy sculpt or Billy Putt or something to give it a little bit of texture. I I don't use foam that much. Unless it's a really big hill, I'll just use epoxy sculpt. Just make the hill just clay, right?
Mhm.
But cork does work, and it's funny you show that because I made up a different base for those guys. Turned out that I didn't really do a very good job. They were so big they didn't fit on the base. But the same style thing, I didn't have any more. So my ogres are on what you've got there, where I cast them out of resin, but I don't have a freaking resin cast of a horde chariot base. So I just went and put cork and some bits of cork and some sand and glued it on. And it would work if the miniatures would actually fit on there. I didn't measure beforehand, so. But anyways, yeah. I mean, I think I do pretty much the same thing you do. Now I see you got the texture paste. I like using the texture paste for applications where I'm not going to paint the base. So like my Star Wars Legion miniatures, I'll use the texture paste because I like literally like put it down, put some grass in it, and then it's done. I don't paint it. Anyways,
so I'll use
Alex
the texture.
just got better looking.
Sorry, what?
Alex just got better looking.
Oh,
that's right.
So then my next step is the texture paste, right? So this is sort of just kind of like a messy phase where you're just kind of getting it down, just trying to make sure that patterns you have in the ground are as natural looking as you can. So it's a pretty easy step. And then I'll go in. I don't have a picture of it, but I have what's from I forget the company, but they make a bunch of like water gel textures and stuff like that.
Meg?
Yeah, AK Interactive.
AK Interactive.
Yeah, they have a wet mud. So you can see the areas here that's wet. I'm adding, because ground is not always all the same color, right? So I'm trying to add in like different tonal differences.
Well, did you paint the mud you already put down first, or you left it the base color?
No, now
you're applying color to it.
Yeah, and then exactly. So I go with just that gray as my base, but texture. But now I'm gonna add color. I'm gonna paint it. This is sort of the canvas,
right?
And then after this, and then so just letting it dry, and then this is my first dry brush phase. So you can see like there's a little bit of darker gray patches, a little bit of lighter gray patches. Some of that is from the dry brush, but some of that is also from the wet mud versus dark earth, having two different colored texture paints. Just adding in a little visual interest. And then you can see this is a horde base that I'm working on for my question mark unit that you guys will all know when the book comes out in like a day.
Love question marks.
Yeah. So here I've started to build up the earth. You can see I still have some cork mountains on the right that I'm working on. And this is sort of my proof of concept. This is not glued yet, but I start putting the extra bling materials sort of on the base as I'm starting to work it. Because I can always just take these rocks off. I can take a thing. But I'm trying to kind of find the visual look of what the base is going to look like happens kind of organically during the process. And then I have some.
And I think they're little shibboleth parts, aren't they?
Yeah.
Those little statue parts. Yeah.
And then as you can see here, I've started to base coat them. So I'm pretty confident in where this is. I've added all my static grass with my static grass applicator that you should get. If you don't have one, it's the coolest thing in the history of the world.
It is amazing. It is amazing.
Which one did you get, Jeremy?
I got the actual Woodland Scenic one.
Okay.
Same one I have. It's
so
a good one.
The expensive one, I guess, but it's nice.
They also, there's a couple other companies that make smaller ones, which I've been meaning to get. And I know Luke APS.
That's Gad, by the way. He hasn't allowed StreamYard.
But Luke's got another one. I think there's a smaller one from, I forget the name of the company, but it's for more like intricate detail work. But yeah.
And then here,
so Luke's APS sells an applicator, does it?
He does. It's not from him. It's from a different company. It's one of the Worldwide Scenics, maybe World Scenics. I forget the name of the company. But he's got a lot of videos on them. Sorry. Go ahead.
No problem. Here I've started to paint some of the materials of the base. So I've started to work on the column on the left. I've started to work on my statue head on the right. So you can see, I think it's just interesting basing is just a lot of different elements, and each element like builds on the whatever the previous element was until by the end you have your composition piece, I guess. Anyway, so that's what I've been working on. I've been working on.
It's interesting to see your process because I don't kind of like I kind of take a different approach. I mean, I showed this, right, which is just messing around, but like with the Kingdoms of Men, it's more like build the entire base with all the details and then apply, the and I don't use any cork. It's all epoxy sculpt, even the texture, which you can see. I still have some spots where spots where I'm still applying it, but like, and what I found is that when you build it like this, there's nothing. Go a little bit like this, I guess. It's like it's bulletproof. Like you literally could drop it and it wouldn't break. So this is a resin cast from. Well, actually, may not be a resin cast. It might actually be a 3D print from Kawaii of a Hobbit home. And then these are just resin casts from woodland seating molds where I broke them up and just glued them, and then you join them together with epoxy sculpt. And then the base is just going to be epoxy sculpt as well. And then once it's all done, the whole thing gets painted gray, and then I'll do wood trim, and then I'll add the textures at the end. But it's interesting. I do like the fact though that my magnets are a little bit better applied. Right? Now, in my defense, part of the reason why I do that is so that I can take two regiments and drop them on another base to have matching magnets and combine them into a horde. So I need to know where they're going to be. But also I'm OCD, and need to know where those magnets are going to be.
I usually use like pieces of slate. You can get like a 12-inch tile from Lowe's that's like slate, and you can break it up, and that's enough basing for like 2 or 3 armies. And then it's heavy, but it's also it kind of especially for plastic minis, it kind of gives the model a bit of the unit a bit of heft. So, and then you just kind of get the polyfill or like patching compound, wall patching compound, and you can add some like sand and paint to that, and you just kind of slop it on, and then you can add your grass and textures on top of that. Kind of similar to how Jeremy dry brushes his like texture paint stuff.
And I've just shared what you're working on, Alex.
Yeah. So I'm building Honor Guard, and I have wolf minis that don't have saddles. They're just like giant wolves from Mercia. So I needed to have some saddles for them. So before I put the heads on the horses for my knights, I created blue stuff molds of the saddles, so I can try to like add green stuff saddles to the wolves, and then doing some armor patches, like some chainmail bits to add to the wolves as well.
Will the saddles be big enough for the wolves? Doing it this
They're
way?
not. So the green stuff is going to be a little bit flexible, and then I'll do
pinch them down.
Yeah, and then I can do the strap just individually on the bottom underneath it, so I won't have to like actually do the whole thing. I've just done 3 as like a test. I'm gonna test fit them tomorrow. One of them's a little thicker, one's a little thinner. There's one off camera here that's a little bit kind of in between. So we'll see how they work out. It's a tight fit for the riders on the wolves. I might have to notch the legs a little bit just to get them a little bit more open. But the saddle will get
crotch space.
Yeah, and then so the saddle will create a little bit of height too, so I won't have to get them to like sit flush on the top of the wolf. I also need to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, is it? And this is for your Honor Guard, you said, right?
Yeah, for Honor Guard. Okay. And then for my Arales, the actual 3D print, the rider that comes with it has like a built-in pommel and saddle in her, like on the mini, which I'm not using. So I'm going to try and fit one of these under the rider that I'm going to use. So it's like a lot of green stuffing over the next week, because you gotta like, I'm gonna have to make a few more molds of the armor, just because like that right there is one wolf's share of armor. So that's like 6 hours of waiting right there. So to get enough of an assembly line together so I can actually get them done this month, I'm gonna have to make a few batches of armor patches, and the saddles should go quickly because I made 6 molds. Hopefully, like they're all good. If these 3 don't work though, I might sacrifice a horse and just cut the saddle right off of it and then make a mold of that, because it might make a cleaner mold. The mold right now is a bit fiddly the way I made them on the horses. So it might make my life a little easier if I just cut 1 or 2 off completely and just make clean molds with just the saddle. We'll see how it goes.
Awesome. Yeah, the blue stuff is interesting to work with. You know, it's cheap. Number one, it's quick. It's quick to try out, but it is fiddly. Like trying.
Yeah.
I remember like a long time ago. Gosh, like maybe like 10, 15 years ago. I had a dwarf army. It's called Clown Blazing Bird, and like they were gingerbeard dwarves, and I was playing Warhammer at the time, and I made shields and like not really gas masks, but kind of like mining masks for the guys that are drilling. And it works great, right? But like it is fiddly. I mean, it is fiddly.
The chainmail is like obviously a lot easier to make because it's just like press it in and it's just a sheet, so I can just like trim around it and then I'll have it ready to use. The saddles, we'll see. Like they look pretty good. If with a little bit of trimming, they should be okay, but we'll see how they fit.
This might be a project for you to learn sculpting.
Yeah,
right?
well, that's the thing.
I mean, saddles. Yeah, saddles are like, I mean, fur, saddles, chainmail. I mean, those are the kind of things that you can really cut your teeth on.
Yeah, exactly. You know? So we'll see how annoyed I am at the end of the week. And then I want to get at least one horde done by the end of the month. So
that's exciting. Yeah. So Matt, how about you? What have you been working on? You said
I was just looking for pictures actually of my models, but I only had pictures of my yard work, so you know that's no.
Well, show us your yard work. It's amazing.
It's like full scale multi-basing, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
True. Actually, it's probably easier just to bring it up on my phone.
And those were those Mersha models? The wolves, you said?
They are, of course.
Yeah, I bought my first ever Mersha models.
That's pretty exciting.
That's a lot of concrete.
Oh wow.
That's a lot of concrete.
That
gave me some guns for the weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. You did that by yourself? You could have help.
That concrete, I had help with the jackhammering, but I lifted it all myself.
Oh wow.
And then dug a trench. I dug a hole.
Mm-hmm.
I dug a hole.
Yeah, let's fill in with water. Yeah, and that's the only two pictures I have.
Is this to expand your bee empire, or is it?
Actually, no, and that's yesterday's front yard. That's looking pretty colourful. I should turn that into a multi-base, shouldn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
looks
great.
good.
Yeah, that's my real life multi-base. A lot more to go. Yeah, but I have a hell of a lot of bruises on myself today.
No doubt.
Jackhammering is no joke.
Yeah, I had to.
At one point, I had to stop for the day on Saturday when, as soon as I picked it up and started it, both arms were going completely numb. So I was like, okay, I think that's enough for today.
I had to jackhammer out like a shower pan. It was only like 5 by 3 feet and about 6 inches deep, and that was a pain in the butt. So
yeah, it's hard work.
Yeah.
So anybody do anything exciting?
Well, we had our first in-person gaming night on Friday at Black Knight Games. First in-person gaming night in since March 2019 or 2020.
Wow.
Was it 2020? I can't remember. I don't know what time is anymore, but since before the pandemic. So
before the sickness.
Yeah, before the world ended. And then but in the meantime, they had bought the convenience store next door and they converted the entire thing into a gaming area. So there's like 8 full tabletop 6x4 foot tabletop tables, and then they have like room for I guess probably close to 30 Magic players, which you could convert into tabletop with toppers. Mm-hmm. So I think we're gonna run a 2-day in March there. Hopefully we can probably fit like 30 or 40 people. It's going to be really great. And then we're doing a 1-day in December just to kind of kick things off after Clash of Kings launches. Kind of a nice 1995 1-day to get people going with the new rules. So that's pretty exciting. Actually,
what are you going to call the 2-day? You got a name?
The 2 days going to be March of Death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then December I'm still thinking about because I haven't thought of it yet. But I was thinking, I don't know, Clash of the Claws, but with like a W,
Well, Reno has a tournament coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Are you going?
What's up? What's that one?
Yeah, so the jackalope. I guess jackalopes are in Nevada. I don't know, but
Is jackalope a real thing, or is that like a made up thing? Isn't that
I
a
don't
made-up
know.
thing?
I
I think it's a made up thing, dude.
It's
like,
a made
like
up. It's a like a hare with antlers.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a made up thing.
Um,
Right? It's
yeah.
not real.
but a bunch of the
No, I spoiled it for Jeremy.
maybe
His
Well, it's
boy
probably-
naivete has been.
I
Is
thought
Santa not real
It's
as well?
it's probably real in Australia. That's what they have there.
Well,
like-
that's true. I mean, they got platypuses. Come on, I mean, jeez.
yeah, if a platypus can
yeah,
live.
they were talking on
yeah.
After Dark, the two guys, Australian guys, about the spiders. What are they called?
Which
Oh,
ones?
the wolf
huntsman?
spiders.
The
huntsman.
the admiral spider, or what is it? The one spider that's really big, that's in all your guys' houses and stuff.
In
Oh,
the
the
bathrooms.
huntsman. Yeah,
Yeah.
Huntsman. Huntsman
Mm.
spider.
Mm.
Man, that was freaky.
Yeah, man, they get huge. When I moved into our house, it had been
Uh-huh.
vacant for a while, and so I kept finding them on the walls.
Yes.
And then I remember one morning waking up at 5 o'clock, and my wife was like waking me up, and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "This is my one morning to sleep in." She's like, "There's a spider on the roof, and it's looking at me." I was like, "It's a spider." I looked up, and it was like about that big, and I was like, "It's a couple meters away. It's a huntsman. It's all right." She's like, "It's looking at me." And I'm like, "All right."
Because they're not
I'll get
poisonous,
up,
are they?
you know.
They're just big.
No, they're not poisonous. They're just scary mofos.
Yeah,
And
they
so,
look pretty
anyway,
scary.
had to kill it. Sorry, huntsman. But then the next morning, I woke
Its friends showed up.
up to about 400 baby spiders on the roof. And I was
Oh.
like, "Oh dear." So I had to vacuum them off the
Uh-huh.
roof.
Australian
while.
problems.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
But I think they're gonna have 20 something people there.
Mm.
So that's gonna be a good size tournament.
That's awesome. Yeah.
You taking Basalia?
No, this is the one I put up on the Facebook. I'm
This
taking
is the
Jarvis Undead.
Jarvis Undead.
Jarvis
Nice.
Undead.
Yeah,
Right.
Jarvis Undead.
Jarvis is
So
a
is this
sneaky
your
kid.
excuse for when you don't back up with 2 wins in a row? You can go, "Oh, I'm playing an army. I haven't played in a while."
Built-in excuse.
It's more like giving other people time to shine, you know.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
Let these other flowers bloom.
Oh wow, you're a benevolent leader.
I am, you know.
Oh my
gosh. I'm generous.
This one's for you, Jeremy,
I'll
from
point them
Facebook
out.
user.
Oh,
Like name.
I didn't see. Well, it's probably one of the
it's
Reno
Sh-
guys.
it's Sean Polka.
Oh yeah, because we drove to when we drove to refugees. That was a fun, man. There's nothing like getting in a road trip with your buddies, driving to a tournament. It's just like
It's awesome. I've
It's
got
so
some good
much fun.
memories of driving to Wapaka in
mhm,
middle of Wisconsin in the dead of winter, and
Yeah.
you're like, "Are we gonna die?"
mhm.
You know,
And you're talking strategies.
but
you're
you're talking
games.
Warhammer
You're talking
yeah.
lists,
games the whole way. Yeah,
you know, you're talking about movies, or it's just like so much. We
Yeah.
had such a good time
Yeah.
going to that tournament. It was so much fun.
Hold on.
Well,
Yes.
we had a good thing. I mean, well, obviously, we've got a tournament coming up next weekend, which is going to be the Forge GT.
Yeah.
So it's 2,200 points, and I'm taking ogres, and should be fun. You know,
Yep.
a lot of them.
How many siege breakers?
Just 4. I actually
4,
went
okay.
and did. I played a game with 5, and I'm like, "Oh, that's too many." It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, all right. It's
Now,
Yeah.
is this the tournament where Nate put in the advertising for it that Jeff O'Neill wasn't bringing his goblins?
No,
yeah,
he's
so
bringing
more
melee
people
goblins.
should
He's bringing
sign up.
goblins, but they're melee goblins.
Oh, they're melee
He's-
goblins. That's what I
yeah.
thought. He's not bringing his shooting goblins.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Well, he's already qualified for the freaking tournament. So what does it matter at this point,
Yeah.
right? So,
And then
I just
Um,
found
go
a
ahead.
picture for you guys.
oh my gosh,
geez.
that's
yeah.
big.
See, like, what do you even do with that big a spider? How do you get it out of your house?
you use a
Well,
baseball
look,
bat.
that one's probably just called Michael and probably just lives there.
Listen,
Michael
This is my
Geld.
roommate.
Yeah,
Many roommate.
Michael Geld,
put a little
exactly.
food dish out.
Look, this one's nicer than Michael Geld. You know, that's
Yeah.
yeah. That's yeah, you're right.
I guess you wouldn't have any problems with like pests or anything because it probably kills anything that's like even remotely.
Yeah, well, that's right.
outside.
That's why they're good to have around.
Now I heard something. I'm curious. Have you guys heard this? I heard that the Mersha, some of the models you can order in resin, or you can order in metal.
Correct.
Correct.
Yep.
Is there a different like quality? And I mean, how
The
is the
penis
resin or
the
Why would
hide?
you buy it in metal? That's all I gotta ask.
That's what
you.
I'm saying. But people were telling me you got to
I
buy it
like
in
the
metal.
metal ones for specific
Ah.
reasons. No, just a few reasons.
Price?
I get well, they're cheaper, but the individuals that have like staffs and stuff and like small weapons, I get in metal because then they're less likely to snap.
Okay, but like bigger stuff, because I got mine in
No, the
resin,
bigger
and
stuff
now-
they don't even make. They don't sell
Okay.
the bigger stuff in metal. It's only
Okay.
like small, large
If they did
infantry
it
and
gold.
smaller. Yeah,
Got
it's almost all. It's only infantry that they'll really sell, and maybe some of the like 40 mil infantry.
So I don't,
And I
okay,
think
cool.
they're moving slowly towards all resin because they'll
Well,
often
it's
do
funny
run
when
out
they
specials on their metal.
they were one of the
Yeah.
first like supporters of Blue Sea Brawl back in the day, like first couple years. And when they would send us stuff, they would always send us the metal characters.
Yes.
But you know what? Metal's for the birds, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because what happens is like it may not snap the first time you try it, you drop it, but like over time it wears out and then it's unrepairable. So it's like, if you don't like the resin shaft, drill it out and put a brass rod in there, my man.
Yep.
Yeah. I know what you mean though, Alex. Like a lot of my Titan Forge, like the little swords and stuff.
Yeah,
snap.
that's a little like the small little like I know I have a bunch of like druids and shamans for my wizards, and they have like antler masks and all sorts of like staffs with stuff, and I'm nervous, but I'm hopeful that they won't shatter the first tournament I take them to.
We had a good time this weekend. We actually had a flea market at the shop. I'm gonna show some pictures. It was pretty fun. I don't know. Have you guys ever done that before? Where a store holds a flea market, bringing stuff.
Swap meets are awesome.
Black Knight does like a yearly one on their birthday in July. It's like you can like everyone just brings their stuff in, and there's like you can buy it, and then they have like auctions for certain things as well. It's pretty cool.
Is this just your really purchase table, Rob?
This is
no. So I actually only I'll show you what I brought. I didn't bring very much. I have a lot of stuff, but I'm a hoarder, and I haven't got to the steps yet, so I'm still hoarding it. No, but you can see a lot of board games. Let's just go through a few of these pictures. This was our buddy Chris Bowen, who I'm sure you guys have met before. He's a hoarder. Look at this guy.
Billy talks about Bowen. Yeah,
he's our old man hoarder. He's hardcore, man. Like the dude will be like,
Blood Bowl.
He's like pre-orders everything, and then look, now he's selling it for pennies on the dollar. Shame for shame.
He's just helping the community, right?
He is very helpful. I will say I had some significant restraint. Like I only bought like 3 board games, and that was it. I was like, that was it. I didn't, because there's a lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah.
I mean, and then if I was in a 40K, it was like,
that's the
mini
thing.
paradise, man. They had Titans and Forge World, and
there's always people clearing out 40K armies every swap meet.
Well, because you get a new book every week, so
and
it's no good anymore. You got to get the new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to my friend Jeff Bodine, he's the kind of guy that'll actually if a new army, the same army works, but if they have new models, he'll sell off the old models to buy the new models.
Oh, cool.
He's hardcore, man. Like GW's got him, hooks at him deep. But yeah, there's a lot of guys with some Song of Ice and Fire, a bunch of board games.
Like Jeremy with me. Jeremy's got his hooks in me.
He does.
Yeah.
But you can see here some. I guess these are Titans. Well, they're not Titans. What are these called?
Those are the Knights.
Knights. Yeah. I'm not up. Sorry, guys. I'm not up to speed on 40K vernacular.
I only get it by osmosis.
So this is me. So like over the last I don't know year, I have been getting all my stuff out of foam and moving into battle foam. So I used to just use Table War, but you know what? After using battle foam, I'm done with Table War because I don't have to first of all, the Table War case, the big one, is top heavy, and the center of gravity is high, and it wants to tip over. 2, it's not built for fantasy. Like the trays aren't very deep. They're wide, but they're not very deep, and you have to put your own sheets of metal in. Screw all that. Just get the battle foam case with the Magna racks and just pull it out. It's like you literally buy it, open the box, assemble it, and you're done. Right? Yeah, you don't have to mess around with it.
Yeah, the 2 of my clubmates, Mike and John, brothers McCready, they both use Magna racks. They love them.
McCready and McCready.
I've got the 432 is the small one. I've got Legionette. I've got the the
And
mid-size one.
There's like a 762 or something like that, or
Right, that's the one I got my
720.
720. I got my ogres in, and then the big one, I got my goblins in it because goblins are just like
I'm gonna need to
growing.
figure out a new transportation strategy just because this new army is gonna be it's a lot of resin stuff, so it can't tip over, and then it's a lot of big stuff that's like with wings and stuff. So I'm gonna have to figure out a new strategy.
Another reason why I hate foam, right? Like if you got like big unwieldy models, you know. Well, I mean that's what we had back in the day, right? Like Sable, that's mostly Sable Army transport, foam or the pre-cut stuff. It's like it was fine.
It
for
did
like
the job for what it
2005.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. But now that I have units and stuff, screw that. So that's really all I brought. And you can just see some more pictures here, but it was well turned out. A lot of people there.
Very cool.
You know, yeah, it was a lot of fun. You know, Pokemon is Pokemon big where you guys are? I'm sure it is, right? It's big everywhere, isn't it?
Huge.
Like it's ridiculous. Top tip though, if you're gonna bring stuff to sell, like this dude's like a store. Like, and I was like, I don't know. I had to tell Mike, I was like, Mike, I don't know. Mike being the owner of War Room Hobbies, I'm like, you know, this is not a guy getting rid of a collection.
This is a small warehouse.
It's a small warehouse, yeah. So like, and you're actually competing against a store at that point. So like, I don't know.
A little much.
There. Yeah, I mean, we've had them several times before, and it's always fun though, because most of the guys are just like guys that have too much stuff in their closet and something they're not going to use, or like this couple, they just had a ton of board games, and it was cool because like they had games that I knew about. I'm like, well, I'll take that. I'll take, I picked up a couple board games that you know, and there's a lot of games in here like Agricola. You know, everybody knows some of these Reef, you know, and Detective.
That game, Kingdom Builder, is fun.
Yeah. Yes, it is a lot of fun.
We like that one.
So the point is though, like if you never, if you can get your store to think outside because a lot of stores are like, oh, I don't want to do this because it's gonna hurt my sales. It's like, well,
or it gets people in the door. Yeah,
most of the stuff that's there is like outdated 40K and board games, which you have some of that stuff, but not a lot of it. Yeah. They're really not, and to your point, it's almost like a loss leader, right? Like they come in the door, they're buying some stuff. Oh, but I want the new shiny Dreadnought. I want the new shiny whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, and our club does one of those too. Like, well, the year before everything shut down, we did that. And ever just brought in, you could rent a table for like $10, and like it all goes to charity. And people are bringing like we got tons.
Mark's flaring up. She's zombie side. Mark's
we picked up a lot of terrain and cool and battle mats for our first tournament, like our first King Beyond the Wall at that one, which was awesome. Because there's people like selling their homemade terrain, but it was like high quality stuff that looked really cool.
That was John Green Jr. saying hi. I think hasn't allowed StreamYard. It mustn't remember your settings. StreamYard.
Yeah, you got to do it every time.
Yeah. So Mo, I do like A cases.
Oh yeah, I like my A case.
I have one of those for my Infinity stuff. Yeah.
The thing is though, like you got to put them together, and it's another one of those ones where I'm like, all right, dude. They were. To Oli's credit, the proprietor of A-Case, he was a sponsor of the very first Masters that we had, Kings of War, back in 2017, and he gave us a bunch of stuff, a couple cases to give out, and I have bad nightmares putting together those cases. But I will say, I know that Patrick Allen has used that case successfully to fly places where he's because the nice thing about their case is the entire inside is metal.
Yeah, even the walls. Yeah,
you gotta be careful because you cut the hell out of yourself because it's.
So Rob, you moved away from using the see-through plastic table war case.
Well,
and you're using.
So I still have the see-through,
like the big one.
Yeah, so I'm not using those anymore. Table war, I'm not using them anymore.
Okay.
They're just
so the battle foam one you have is like a traditional battle foam rack, but they just have the metal inserts or so. I've never seen.
No, so it's like a plastic shelving unit. And they have racks that slide out.
Yeah.
And the racks have got a magnetic surface.
But that shelving unit fits within a battle foam bag.
Existing bag.
The quality of the actual bag, battle foam bags are really nice made.
Yeah. And it's the Magna Rack.
And you want the Magna Rack sliders, not the Magna Rack sliders. Because the sliders they pull out.
Yeah.
And also available at War Room Hobbies. But the thing is that the tray is wide enough. Like I'll give you an example. My 2200 Army fits on one of those trays. Like if you really push it into close together, you could because it's a good size tray. And the other thing I like about it is that the racks themselves, that length and that width is the same dimension across the 3 bags that I have. So I can adjust it, right? I can pull one out and slide it,
Rob, why don't you bring up the Battle Foam website and show us exactly what you use?
Yeah, because like I know with the A case, they have a really small one, which I use for like Infinity because it's only like 15 guys. But like the bigger A cases are odd dimensions for.
Well, the first one that came out with, I don't know if you remember, it was like super long, but only like maybe like I'm not in front of my camera here. Sorry, it's like this tall.
Yeah,
and
it's
Devlin's
not big.
got one. Devlin's got
tiny.
one. And it's so hard to use.
Yeah,
so
that's the one I got. The first Kickstarter, and it's not great for Kings of War, but the bigger ones are a weird shape, like weird dimensions.
And because the A-frame is Polish, yeah? Is it Polish?
It's European. I think it might be Polish.
It's Polish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's good quality though.
I mean, I will say their prices are reasonable for what you get because you don't. In the ones that I got, you have to actually fold and bend the frame itself.
Yeah, and it comes flat packed. Like it's like a metal. It's just like a stack of metal sheets with a bag.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
So the shipping is actually pretty reasonable.
So guys that have flown internationally, Australia's biggest pest has asked the question: what is the best way to transport minis internationally? Bring them on as your carry-on option bag or a ton of foam and
no, you want to carry it on the
carry on or FedEx. Yeah. No, just kidding.
No.
not that he's actually allowed out of Australia. He's been banned in most other countries.
Is he allowed out of his house?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we let him out. He sometimes comes to games night. Yeah. We text his missus and say, all right, put the pin into the lock and let him out for the night.
Oh, these slider ones, those are new. I haven't seen those yet.
Yeah, so you can see here, basically this whole frame just slides into the bag and you zip it up around it. So the top shelf is the top shelf doesn't slide out. It's not usable, right? Because it's metal at the top of the bag. Yeah, it's a magnetic surface. Magnets and then and what's really cool about it is just like any other foam case, you've got so many inches to play with, and they make like 5 or 6 different spacers, like 1.5, 2 inches, 3 inches, and you can adjust the heights, right?
And you get 2300 on there pretty easy.
I can get of ogres. I can get about 4,000 in the 720, which is
if you have a lot of infantry or like large stuff, I think you'd pretty much need the 15, the big one.
Yeah,
and I believe.
Go ahead.
The 720 that's their carry-on size bag size.
Let's.
I want to say that the 720 is it's the biggest. It's like certified to be carry-on.
The biggest one you can get in the overhead compartment.
That's what I want to say that. Maybe I'm wrong.
It doesn't. From what I remember, the size of them, because I see them in person regularly, that makes sense to me.
But
it's about the same size as my camera backpack, which is carry-on size.
The other thing that kicks ass compared to the Table War is I bought this stuff here, which goes in the Table War bag in the pockets on the outside. I don't have to carry anything else. Dice, tape measure, token set, everything's in the bag. Like, because before I'd have my Table War, and then I'd have like a messenger bag for all my other crap, my books and stuff. Table War bag, it's all I need. Everything's in it.
Battle Foam bag.
Yeah. Nice. Sorry, Table War. Yeah. Sorry, Battle Foam. Well, so here's the funny thing. This is kind of a weird thing for me because I used to hate Battle Foam. Like,
so the 7. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. It was a dickhead. So I was always like, but like,
quality product wins. Yeah,
exactly. He can be a dickhead. I don't care. It's a good product. And I'm supporting my local store. Sorry, Jeremy. Go ahead. What was your question?
I was just gonna say, so the 720 is fits most airline. Just to give you guys the concepts of size, you could bring this and put it in an overhead.
So what's cool though is, like I said, you can I think the standard loadout is like 3 trays, 3 sliders, and so you can depends on how big your models are, right? Obviously, if you got I will say one of the things that this does make me do is like I don't know how I want to put together a Mantic Giant. Because I'm like, how the hell am I going to carry it around, right?
Yeah.
So,
because I'm just looking at this, and I'm going to need the biggest one just to carry.
The 1540.
Because everything in my army is like 8 inches tall.
Yeah. The 1540 is pretty big, and it's got the handle that slides up, and it's got wheels.
Yeah,
it rolls around. But like I said, they all share the same shelving size. So if you were to like let's say you had the 1540 at home, you could load that up. You could pull out like, I only need 2 shelves. You could pull those 2 out of the big bag
and
throw
put
it
them in a
720
720
and then take exactly.
Cool.
So now they do have a smaller size one, which I think is called the 432 or something. I don't know. There is a smaller size, and that one you do got to watch out because that one does have. It's not quite as wide. It doesn't share the bigger size trays.
Okay.
And if you do want, they do make it without sliders. I don't know why in the world you do that. Like, why would you not want the trays to slide out? That just seems like a crazy thing to me, right? But
because you have to take it apart to get at them.
Well, what I typically do at the shop is I'll zip the bag open and I'll just pull the whole rack out and drop it on the table, and then just pull the drawers out.
Yeah,
the shelves out. But yeah, it's great. I hate Mike. I mean, my wife is already complaining. All these bags, and I have to hide the receipts and stuff. But
familiar with it.
Yeah,
it's funny because it's like we keep collecting minis and paints and everything, and then you're like, we got to get these things to the games, to the tournaments. So you might as well get good quality like transportation and storage solutions, right?
Yeah, having an expensive bag is better than having to put to get back together or destroy it.
Yeah, or it's like buy another another horde of something, or get a bag that's actually going to protect the armies that you have.
Yeah.
And I think when you get older in your career and you get to where you have the money, to me, it's like I'd rather just get the nice stuff. I mean, I'm lucky to have the means to, but when it comes to the things that you touch and deal with, like that's why I like nice brushes or whatever. It's like,
dude, pretty sure you only have the means to because you haven't paid any of those bills behind you.
Yeah.
I think I have. Here's an army list. Oh, that's TK playtest army list. I can't.
Don't put that on camera.
Look at this guy. Conspicuous consumption over here with his Alienware Lab headphones.
Here's the
product
first
placement.
Clash of Kings pack. So I can't show it to you, but I printed it out.
Well, it comes out tomorrow. You're not really.
Speaking of Clash of Kings, Jeremy and I will be participating in a UB Expo tournament. The Quail Quality Cup, I think, is the
quintessential, isn't it?
Quintessentially Quail. Yeah. I like to think of it as quality. Or
I hope you guys back it up, man. Don't go there and play like a bunch of chumps.
So what's happening is he's got 16 players from around the world, and we're all going to be demoing armies with the Clash of Kings changes. So it's going to be a little bit of an international invitational tournament, a little bit of a Clash of Kings expo. It's going to be pretty fun. I'm going to be playing the new Rift Forge Orcs. Jeremy's going to be playing. I would have wanted
good players, but
yeah, it was left to me. I was last on the list, obviously, and I got them as my pick. I get to play Keith Randall, everyone's favorite drunken elf, on Friday. And
that's starting this Friday, is it?
Yeah, on Friday. Paige
can do it though. I have faith in Paige.
Paige is playing Tom Robinson, and then Jeremy, you're playing.
I'm getting squashed. Ed Herzig.
Oh, you're playing Ed, the professor.
Yeah, he's gonna crush me.
Did you meet Ed when he came to Lone Wolf?
I have not met Ed. I know him and
Ed's
Rashad.
super nice.
He's down here at UCLA sometimes, so I know him and Rashad try to get a game. No, I mean I know he plays. I think Shooty Sylvankin, and I'm playing Basilane's Sisterhood Speed. So
speed kills, right?
He shoot me off in one turn before I charge him with my whole army. That's going to be the question.
It's going to be a good weekend. It's going to be. I think it's 3 open rounds, so it's going to be a round robin. So it's not single elimination. So we get to play 3 games, and then the top 2 people from each group go on to the next round. So, and then there's going to be a little bit of a playoff after that. So I think every week.
Sorry, have they managed to fill the commentator roles yet?
I'm not sure. I think they're probably still looking because I don't even know if they've scheduled the game. Like
I don't think they've scheduled the ones that are going to stream yet.
Yeah, they haven't scheduled the broadcast yet because I think everyone's just scheduling their games because it just got the matchup cast was on Thursday. So you can go on Dash 28 to watch the matchup cast for that, and then I think games start this Friday. I think I'm playing Keith Friday afternoon.
Nice. Yeah. I'm playing Ed Saturday morning. So, and I chose to take a list. It's Basileia, but it's all new stuff. I wanted to like.
Mhm.
He was like, take new stuff, but don't feel like you have to take new stuff. But I took it
Right.
as an opportunity to show off
Yeah.
the new stuff in Basileia. So it's just basically all sisterhood.
Yeah,
So-
we
That's
may
cool.
have encouraged, meaning abused, Andrew Goodman into taking more new stuff because he was like, we're like,
Well, that's the thing.
"You
It's like, you know what? I could have taken like a Riftforged Orcs list that was essentially my, standard Basileia, or it was my League of Rhodia list, like same play style. But I decided to like take a bunch of units that kind of demonstrate their new play style and their weird, some of their weirder things.
Yeah.
So
I think it will make for more interesting games to watch,
Absolutely.
and it's like an invitational, so it's not like it's like a super hardcore tournament.
no, it's
so-
for fun. I want to set up some funny situations. That's the
Yeah.
whole list is designed around like just making my opponent uncomfortable. It might not win me any
Mhm.
games, but it'll be
You don't have to have
Yeah.
an army for that.
No, it's true. You could just be Matt.
Yeah.
And
Mine's the Ricky Bobby, just
So-
speed.
yeah.
If you're not first,
So
you're
did
last.
so is Andrew's probably playing Abyssal Dwarves, right? Matt, is that what?
yes,
Goodman?
and his first list was like rock golems
The
with
exact same.
different things, and so it just had like characters that had changed something, and we're like, can't you get the Hellfane in there or something? So
Something, yeah.
yeah.
Because he's played
Yeah.
that same list pretty much in every UB tournament for the last like 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. So, like Andrew's a great guy, but he's he's a very competitive guy, and that's just his vibe.
Yeah,
So,
it's hard not to I'm entering a tournament. I'm gonna take the hardest list I can possibly
Exactly.
devise,
Yeah.
no matter what. Like even if it, even if we're trying to like showcase the changes, it's like I'm playing to win.
I know. So it turns out, like I've played a few games by email with him like a month or so ago, and he goes, "Oh, I might play lights. Let's just change it up, do something." And then I got his list, and he's like, "So you know what? Turns out I can't write not write a super tuned list." I'm like, "That's okay, mate.
That's like
as long as you're owning up to it, that's fine."
that's like the ringer list problem I ran into last month, and it took like a few weeks of like my club mates trying to help me write a bad list.
Yeah. No, so that should be some good watching, and I think a good way. And Jeremy, I'm looking forward to seeing buffed ladies
Yes.
come out.
Yeah, they got some interesting changes. Definitely.
Yeah. So so one unit that's got a really big change is going to be my core, and then the formation and the new where I don't think it was spoiled yet, but they talked about it on the show and then it stopped very quickly.
Yeah.
About the special something that's in there. That's something.
Yeah.
So let's just say the angels are so sexy that everyone else is just wowed by their sexiness and they want to do better.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm not looking forward to:
Uh-huh.
the inevitable whinge fest that's about to descend on the interwebs.
Oh, from the book coming out and being like, "Oh my God, this is so stupid."
Yeah, I haven't played a game with it, but this is obviously a yeah.
I think
Well, why
everyone
didn't
should
you-
be
why didn't
happy.
you
Like
fix
honestly,
this?
it's like
Oh, come on, mate. We know there's some people in.
Oh no,
group
I know that
won't be
people won't be. I know there's going to be people who are like livid,
RC is
already
so
livid.
stupid.
But
Haven't they-
I think this is like one of the most fun Clash of Kings books that I've seen. Like I'm
it's
pretty
amazing.
excited.
People
I have
feel
like
nerfs. Everything is getting better.
I have 8 or 9 armies planned out of this book. It's amazing.
What about how wingets haven't been nerfed, Alex? What do you think of that?
Well, I feel like they did listen to me a little bit. So one of the changes does tick one of the boxes that were one of my requirements, so I can't be completely unhappy. So I think the Goblin update page should, if it was a no nerf Clash of Kings, the Goblin update should have been blank, just blank. Just blank.
Yeah, well, it's kind of I feel the same way about like Abyssal Dwarfs probably and Dwarfs and Night Stalkers to an extent.
Well,
but
yeah, I think that's a good lead in because I know Jeremy and I are working with a pair of experts right now, the Spy Master and Mr. Brenton Williams, on a meta shift episode. So that'll be fun to see. We were
coming out Wednesday, right, Jeremy?
No. No, we've been talking a lot about it on how we're going to do it. maybe looking at some biggest winners, biggest and losers in the sake of no one lost anything, but what are we looking at as far as coming out
relatively, yeah.
Relatively,
Who didn't shift as much, you mean?
Yeah, and maybe who's really much better.
Like how the top 5 changed, and then who's like the biggest winner, like actual marginal improvement in big shifts, and then it'll be a good one.
Recording that very shortly over here in the next week or so, couple weeks, and have that. Just let people digest the book a little bit first.
Yes.
Let
them get their whining out.
Yeah, let them have the book for a week or two.
It's gonna take months to get the whining out.
Let's let some of that get out of the system, and then we'll Britton and Tom together are really good minds. They look at the game in different ways, and they're both they're really tuned in, following what everyone's doing. So it should be a really interesting episode.
Absolutely. I've been having some very, very fruitful conversations with the Spy Master about a few armies. It's going to be a good year, I think.
Why? Because the armies you're building got better.
Just some interesting changes.
Yeah, I love to change so much. I'm starting a whole new army based on.
Yeah, well, no, I think like I said, I legitimately have like 4 or 5 different armies that I want to start now. I just need to finish the League of Rordia first.
I'll come back.
So let's do this. With all these changes and all these armies getting better, let's think the 4th edition. What army is going to be contracted away? What army is going to go away in 4th edition?
Okay. Do we all pick one so we don't cover same base? All right. I don't think we'll have generic orcs.
I think League of Rordia is going to go away.
Interesting.
I'd say probably Brother Mark.
It's a good pick.
Ratkin slaves. Does that count? I mean, I guess.
Well, I don't know. Are you just reading the chat and you're gonna give Michael his credit?
Oh no, I got to say something else. I can't agree with that guy. Okay. Ratkin slaves.
The masses has spoken.
I wouldn't be surprised with Rordia. We were talking about a really fun idea for a Rordia theme list. Because Rordia still has the halfling loyalists, right? So you do a Rordia army, but only use halfling models. But they're like, they hunt halflings, so all their halflings are like camo jungle, and they have ear necklaces of like regular halfling ears.
Tiny little ears.
They have the audacity to like leave.
Yeah. I think it also depends on the model of building armies that they go for, right? Whether they actually double down on the whole master list, theme list thing.
Yeah.
Because in theory, then you only have you could make all human armies a derivative of Besalia TM. Yep.
Yeah.
Or Kingdoms of Men. Yeah. I think, but I mean, that would be the obvious one, right? Is that there's four men armies or versions, but then some of them have been so popular, Order of the Green Lady.
I feel like that is I think that needs to be like a core list coming up.
I don't know. I love that there's a lot of armies. I don't think there's too many.
I think they want to. They definitely want to add.
Yeah, the problem though is at the end of the day, they can't service them all. They can't make miles for everything. And I'll tell you right now, that is going to be what stops Mantic, because I hear it every week. They're like, where the hell are these models? We can't get them in. It's like, where are the models from my army?
There's a discussion today about mammoths. It's like with the big deal coming out. They're like, well, where's the Mantic mammoth?
Right. It's like I get they didn't want to always make the new shiny, but you haven't serviced 75% of what you've already got.
Yeah, and I think if you want to look at what's obvious, the stuff that has no grounding in Mantic models is obvious to go. Right, and Greenlight. So I think this edition, the really smart thing they did is make a number of theme lists. They changed them to make them at least derivative of their own model lines. But yeah.
So and we never did get an answer out of Jeremy, so I like how he weaseled out of the question.
I'm gonna say Sylvankin for him.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean that does make sense, I guess. But even though people love that, because they have Twilight Kin is in Armada now, right?
Yeah.
So they will make models for them, I think, at some point.
Yeah, and they used to, right?
You think about it. They're going through the fantasy tropes and really trying to up their game. So they did it with goblins. Well, they did it with the Ratkin. when they didn't have any models at all, right? Really, really nice Ratkin models, and then they replaced the goblins. They've replaced the orcs, even though they can't make the plastic kit can't make the basic orc units, but they do have resin upgrades coming to make that happen. So I don't know. Elves. I mean, elves is the one that they need to do desperately. I know I've heard
to do
dwarves too. Is what
next year's RB box has to have new elves. Like the starter box. Next year's starter box should have elves. I think.
Well, the starter box never had elves.
Plastic.
Yeah, I just don't know if it'll happen. Like, I mean, to me, it should, because I think Elfin enemy, like, it always surprised me with GW, like when they went to AOS, how long it took them to redo their elves, because elves were always their biggest seller in fantasy. Yeah.
Elves.
I
think the idea, though, that you had, Rob, or I don't know who it was, about Riftforge orcs become the Mantic orcs. That was
Matt's idea.
Oh, Matt's idea. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. That's an interesting idea.
It makes sense, right? It makes sense with their kind of IP of trying to put their own spin on things.
Well, and if they want to like release new armies in fourth, like Ophidia and plus like maybe one other new army,
they got to get rid of some armies, bro.
Like you can't go to 28 or 30 armies.
No, that's true. You do have to cycle out some, right?
We haven't heard of Ophidia for a while. I'd be surprised if that's on the 5-year plan, honestly.
I doubt it too. I mean, it's
it's always like.
It was always a thing that was brought up years ago. We haven't heard about it for years. Like, it kind of gets mentioned, but more by fans than anything.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, guys.
It's not in the 5-year plan.
We've hit time. So
great to see you guys.
We got one more question. Let's answer here. It says, what about a Mantic flagship army versus box? What would the flagship army be? Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick the Mantic IP army, Basileia is probably it, right? Nobody else has like a
Yeah, that it's unique.
And, I mean, Ben says that. I think it has. I think that has been made. When I first saw the sculpts, I think I said to you guys that it had a very WoW vibe.
Absolutely.
Which I think is fine. I mean, the people that are saying it's a Stormcast vibe, I don't really get with, especially once you read it. It's not.
Only because there's lightning, and that's how the Stormcasts are made.
Yeah.
And that's why he always gets invited. Yeah, but that's why he always gets invited, because he's always the nicest guy on the planet.
But it's not even really Jeremy. Like, it's not like the Stormcast. It's got that more god thing, not a.
Yeah, they're like these soulless or like these empty shells, right?
I mean,
people like to say Stormcast or Eternals. They just it's like a funny, I'm gonna,
But the reality is, like, in my mind, I don't know the fluff yet, but when I look at them, they're rift forged. That just says like chaos orcs, abyssal orcs, right? Like, they're corrupted by the rift.
Yep. Yeah.
They ain't good guys.
Yep.
They didn't fly here from another planet.
Yeah, they're not here to help us.
No.
They're a good army. I played the other night. Britain kicked the crap out of me.
Oh, we're going to see
all right, boys.
Powerful rift forge.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of
those Cyclops. That Cyclops unit is man.
They're good lists. They're really fun.
You will see how not to use all those Cyclopses in full effect over the next few weeks. I'll give a masterclass on what not to do with them.
Yeah.
Well,
all
boys,
right, shall we wind it up?
Wind it up.
Thanks, fellas.
So thanks everyone for joining us tonight. If you have a topic for future live casts, let us know.
Slide into my DMs, baby. Slide
exactly.
Matt
the maestro of the live stream.
If you invite that into your life, it's up. That's all on you.
Yeah, you can be with my other 5 friends. Yeah.
I'm warning all the people who you were inviting, because it's like if you get Matt in your DMs, then that's your issue.
Yeah.
And Michael, we still love you, even if Matt doesn't.
Yeah. Get back in your box, pest. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everyone.
Have a good night.
Bye.